Nissim, I know you had a career before Judaism, actually an amazing career. I also know that you don't really talk much about it. So I want to take this opportunity right now to ask you straight out about your previous life and find out about your amazing career before you ventured into Judaism.
It's a good question. I don't know how amazing I can say that it was. Really, I was young. My parents were hip-hop artists. My mother was, my father was. So I really didn't have a shot at doing anything else. You know, I could have been a janitor or something like that, but it didn't work out that way. I was always into music at a young age. And right around when I was 13 years old, I hooked up with a producer by the name of Vitamin D. Vitamin D at the time, I think he was doing things in the industry, smaller things, but working with some big names at the time. But he was very well known in Seattle, and we did 2 records together. And from there, it led to me working with other managers, and it opened me up to new people. So it was how I started. From then, I started performing before a lot of crowds, and it just one of those things that trickled. And one day my demo made it to the desk of an A&R, and I started getting calls from a record label. And at the time also too, I was very, very involved independently, like trying to push my stuff every second that I could. And I got a call from an A&R at Virgin Records, and we started talking, and it seemed like it was going to be something very hopeful. And I remember we got on a plane, we went to New York, we went to Slim Shady Records, we went to Atlantic, we went to Dame Dash Music Group. This is right after the Jay-Z and Rockefeller split with Dame Dash. Met with Clark Kent to discover Jay-Z and Biggie Smalls. And he wanted to move forward. At a conference call the next morning, it didn't go through. Nothing was looking that it was going to be so promising. So we decided to do it independent. And when we did it independent, it made a big splash. Mainly locally, and then it started to spread a little bit more in the region, and things picked up.
I'm seeing bodies loaded on a truck, and if it wasn't for my trade, it would be us. I'm staring at my mother in the line.
And I started searching. And during that time of searching, I realized that, I was searching for God. And so I pursued that. And the more and more I grew spiritually, I found myself more and more disconnected with music. At this time, it was like everybody's like, this is all the hype is happening. I'm here about to release my sophomore record. And that sophomore record, I remember having a meeting with my business partner, and I told him, I said, listen, this is going to be my last record. I don't want to do it anymore. But
what did he say?
He said, he's very shocked. He's very shocked, He didn't really know how to take it. At this time, we had finally made a platform to do what we wanted to do and to take things to the next level. And
next level means what, like MTV?
To the next level was hopefully to eventually take our independent label and to get an imprint deal and to be able to put out, our music nationally, internationally, and along with other artists. But, here I am. I felt that urge inside of me saying I can't go on anymore. And what can you do with that? So I told him this is going to be our last, but I told him on the condition. I said, listen, I don't want any money from anything. I don't care what it makes or anything like that. Any shows, anything. I didn't want money from anything. I said, all I want to do is be able to keep Shabbat and Yamin Tovim. That's it. And no shows on those days. I don't get bugged and I get bothered or whatever. So we agreed to it and we released that record. And it made it big. Nationally. There were so many different people. I remember doing the release party. And the release party, people were crying, walking out of the door. And it was one of those things that you could feel the vibe, and something was in the record. The first single we shot on that ended up on MTV.
Yeah, y'all know what it is. This is some of that motivational music, some of that feel good. Yeah, a new life, new day, new breath. Make moves, get through, do your best. That's what they say to you. Cause if the music shapes who we are, then watch what they play to you. We came a long way from always play in the background. It seems that they all wanna be where we at now, although it's much harder raising a black child we act now.
It was on full rotation on MTV, and I had guys like DJ Premier, was a big legend in hip hop. You know what I mean? Really endorsing me. Just right before the record, I did a song on Jake One's White Van Music, and on that record, it was like people were saying like, "That's my fan." I'm on there with Busta Rhymes, Young Buck, and Little Brother was on there. I mean, you're talking about big names that were on this, in the hip hop world on this record, and Little Me from Seattle.
They say, homie, shoot for the stars, shoot real hard. Break no star, not a button, no ball. Cause we're still riding, looking for Miss Parker. See, I'm the writer, composer, the author.
Yeah, not too little, but Little Me from Seattle, you know what I mean? And nobody was making a big splash, so set things up for that record. And then when it was on MTV, we're like, wow. And I went to New York, and I got to meet with a lot of my favorite rappers, and they knew who I was. I didn't have to say anything, and people knew who I was. You know, these are big names, people I've been listening to for years, and they knew who, it was a very, 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 very eye-opening experience.
Call me Nissim, or you can call me Niece. Call it whatever, just don't call it street. I will admit that back then I was a beast, but I traded for that big white.
When was like the turning point where you just said, okay, and you completely walked away from it? What was it?
I think it was trying to like I said, live in two worlds. It was very, very hard for me because, and it's not because music is bad, obviously, It was because my relationship to it was one that wasn't one of holiness. It wasn't Kedusha in my relationship to the music. And because of that, I couldn't see how I can make the two work. I'm searching for God and trying to improve myself spiritually, and at the same time I have music and I have rap music, and you know what I mean. And to try to find clean rap or something that was really satisfying to I couldn't. So for me, I couldn't make it work. So I think coming to that realization that these are two different worlds, even though obviously I found out later on that I was wrong, but in my head it was divided. It was two different worlds, and I couldn't make it anymore.
In the last year, Nissim exploded on the Jewish music scene, and really 2016 I think was a big year. Music videos, one after another, and seeing you on the biggest stages in the world. How did that happen? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's a very good question. I think there's two words to describe that: Hashem Melech. Very interesting. I released in 2013. I released a LP. It was titled Nissim. There was some buzz around it. I did a video for Torah for Hanukkah. There was a little bit of hype and buzz surrounding it, but it wasn't like what it is, today. And over from 2013 to 2015, at least when the Shemelech came out, I went into a place of really trying to find myself, and in the midst of all of that, I was homeless with my family. I didn't know how I was going to. There was nights I slept in my car. I found myself in the lowest places, financially burdened. I mean, you talk about and embarrassed. I was in a very, very low place, and by the time I got called to do Hashem Melech, a mutual friend called me up and told me about the song, it's like, have you heard of Hashem Melech? You heard the song, God Elba? It's like, of course I know the song. My 2-year-old doesn't stop playing, and I'm tired of the song, actually, if you want to be honest. But, and he asked me about this. So I said, listen, whatever I do. He found me from the Hanukkah thing. He knew me from the Hanukkah thing at Eshator. So he called God. God was interested in doing it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And so I remember going in to record it. And the first time I went to go record those lyrics, mind you, 2013, I released a record. I was Jewish. It was a very amazing and positive, uplifting record, okay? But for the first time, and Nissim Black was the first time that I openly spoke about Hashem in a rap. I never talked about God in a rap, like, openly like that, you know what I mean? So I think what it was that I felt a sense of, like, freedom for the first time. Because if a guy talked to me on the side, anytime, that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about Hashem, Avodat Hashem, we're talking about these things. But in rap, I concealed it because I still had this hope maybe that I can influence the world, and by keeping it. And I realized that it wasn't true to my person. But the first time when I went in and I did Hashem and I started speaking and Hashem, you know, I was teary. I was crying afterwards, you know, and I felt something.
So when that video came out, there was a lot of controversy because it involved rap.
Right.
And there is a controversy about rap in the Jewish music world, and in general in the Jewish world, in the yeshivish world.
Right.
Here's the question: is rap kosher?
It's not so pashut. Is rap kosher? Rap, you know, what we have today, when we listen to, obviously, when we look at predominantly, I don't know a lot of clean rappers. I can't really say I know any. I don't, you know what I mean? So I can't say that rap is kosher. What I came to the realization for myself is that I have a certain koach. I have a certain strength. Hashem blessed me with a certain talent and a certain gift. And I need to use that in order to glorify and magnify His name. That's it. And to spread His name into the world. So I took that and I used it. So the question really is, can rap be kosher? It could be kosher. What decides whether or not music is kosher is not the genre. So Rabbi Nachman says, and look at Maran in Torah Gimel, in the third Torah, he says, he defines very clearly what is and what's not a kosher musician. It's not defined on the genre, the style of music. It is based upon the musician himself. Are they working on themselves in Kedusha? Are they purifying themselves, working that? And then from that, because the expression of what comes out of a person is everything that's inside of them. So if you have, a clean and a wholesome bottle pouring something out, that's what the liquid's going to be. If it's in something that's tainted and it's dirty and you pour that out, that's also what it's going to be. So, I don't think that you could say this genre can be kosher and that one can't. I mean, who can define that? But Hashem knows the heart of a person. And the people that have a true hergish, people that can feel, they have true feeling, they feel when something's coming from a pure, impure place. And it's also based upon the person giving it, on the person receiving it. Where are they holding?
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the album. If you could tell us what this specific album is about. What's the theme?
What's the theme? So the name of the new record is Lamala. And I think it's just that. It's about going up, ascending, going up to the highest place, and elevating oneself. The record came about. I was making Aliyah. First, the record started way before that. Like I said, I was crying many prayers on being able to make this record, and with nothing. I had like Zaman Chirotenu, and that was it. That was the only song I had, and I was like, this rain, and I'll be able to make something. And now I diving on the quality. I want it to sound like this. I want every little thing, the detail that I could think of. I prayed about. When we were making Aliyah, we were moving to Yerushalayim, leaving from Seattle. On the first day I got in, I had an email from a guy by the name of Israel Lau. He says to me, I have a studio, and the studio is in Beit Israel. It's right by the Mir Yeshiva, blah, blah, blah. Check it out. So usually, whatever, the first thing is you investigate. So we checked out, seen what was at the studio. I seen the equipment. I was like, this is amazing. And he's got everything I need. And so I went to go meet with him, and we really hit it off really, really well. So me, him, and my brother-in-law, Yosef Brown, we got together and we started making this album. And to me, it's a masterpiece for me, because not only is it, like I said, it's phonically, everything's in the right place, and it's amazing music, good to the ear, but it's from the heart. And I was able to work on it with 2 amazing years.
So I want to talk a little bit about the message that you're trying to get out through your music.
So the message I want to get out through the music is that no matter where a person is, no matter how low a person is, no matter what a person is going through, even from that place, it's not my message. It's the message of the greats before me, including Rabbi Nachman, my teacher, is that no matter where a person is, in the lowest places, even there you can still find Hashem. And even there you can climb out and you can run. My whole story is that everything, and I didn't create my story. I don't tell up my story to say that, oh, look at all that. Hashem chose me as a character in life, and this is the story and everything that he cut out that he gave me. So with that, I had to realize, what can I contribute to the world? What can I contribute to Yiddishkeit? What is my contribution? My contribution has to be somewhere within my area. What was my life like? What was I doing? I looked for the clues and the hints, and I seen that I came from that, and Hashem brought me there. So obviously it must be for me that with my music and with whatever koach that I have, that I'm using it to bring people from the lowest places up to the highest place. That's all I have to give. That's all I have to give.